it's just Damon Arnett is really what kills it for me. I could look past the Tanner Muse. I really can. Damon Arnett just fucking drops it a whole grade.
Mm. To me, I'm giving them a D. I didn't like this. I thought Ruggs was okay, but not a good use of your draft capital. Arnett was awful. Everything else is average at best, and Robertson gives them a slight uptick, so it's not an F.
Honestly, if they were going to do back-to-back wide receivers, I'd rather have seen them done something like Henry Ruggs and Brandon Ayuk in their first round. Take those two wide receivers. That right there would have...
Anybody but Arnett.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a D+, because like I said, it just seemed like reaching for guys that have questions and taking people at points in the draft that you really didn't need to. They would have been around later on, and you could have used the pick there, and you could have gotten more for your money. It seems like you sold yourself short on every pick minus Ruggs, but even that one feels like you sold yourself short because, I think you're right. I think all of them will be slam dunks, but people were evaluating Judy higher. People were evaluating other wide receivers higher. Maybe they saw something in Ruggs. That's the only one that's justifiable to me. The other ones just seemed like you were throwing curveballs that weren't even hitting the zone.
Right. And I've seen some crazy... That was a backcourt violation. Steph Curry, whatever. But I had seen some people who were really torn and didn't know which wide receiver was the best. I saw some people say that they thought T. Higgins was the clear number one. I had seen people say CeeDee Lamb was the clear number one. Like I said, any of those four wide receivers, and I'm happy as a fan of that team with that pick until pick 19 comes.
I think that Jerry Jeudy might end up being the best wide receiver out of this fucking draft class, probably because he's so pissed at where he went.
Maybe.
Don't underestimate the diva wide receiver not to get pissed off.
That chip on the shoulder. That's why I like the Mims pick for the Jets too. Same reason. So yeah, I could definitely see Jeudy, taking that to the house.
Because he's gonna play like he's pissed. I'm telling you, he's gonna play pissed.
Kind of like Marshawn Lynch in Buffalo.
Yeah, kind of like Marshawn. Yeah. Speaking of Vegas, we'll talk about him. We'll talk about him next week. But because you said you think Jerry Jeudy's going to be the best wide receiver, I think, despite the fact that he went to the Bengals, I think T. Higgins is going to be the best receiver from this class.
Okay, well,
with absolutely no bias, I'm going to say that Mims will be the best wide receiver.
Yeah, this covers both comments. That's adorable.
Yeah, C minus.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, whether it's wrong or not.
Dan Beebe, what did you give a grade?
I'll give D.
D. So
Yeah.
they did really fucking bad, is what we are all saying.
Yeah, certainly worse than in their division.
Yeah, one team really fucking killed it. One had a solid draft. One had an underwhelming draft, and one did really fucking bad. Let's move on now to the NFC West. We'll get maybe two teams in, then we'll have to take another break, all right? All right.
Sounds good.
So, even though if you're going based on alphabet letters, the Cardinals would be first, we're going to go with 49ers as a number, so numbers come before letters. San Francisco 49ers are going to be the first team in the NFC West. They, let's see here. Here we go. All right. Round 1, pick 14, Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle from South Carolina. Big need of theirs to shore up that defense to make sure Patty Mahomes doesn't come back on him again. Round 1, pick number 25, Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver from Arizona State. Round 5, huge fucking difference. They go 128 picks without drafting. That's almost four full fucking rounds. Round 5, pick 153, Colton McKivitz, tackle from West Virginia. They do need help on that offensive line. Although they should have just drafted Tristan Wirfs instead of trading with the Buccaneers. Round 6, pick 190, Charlie Werner, tight end from Georgia. And round 7, pick 217, Jawan Jennings, wide receiver from Tennessee. Javon Kinlaw, fucking slam dunk. Brandon Ayuk, really good. Those 2 picks I thought were great. I have a hard time giving a bad grade to a team that goes almost 4 full rounds without a draft pick. But Colton McKivitz, not a big fan of that pick. Charlie Werner, not a big fan of that pick. Jawan Jennings, I like that pick. I feel like he could have been drafted quite a bit higher, wide receiver from Tennessee. I just feel like the 49ers didn't do enough to satiate fans or critics. And I think that really they probably shouldn't have used that second first-round pick and tried to gain a second and a third or a third and a fourth, so they weren't going 4 full rounds without a pick. I feel like they should have done a little bit more in the way of offensive line. I don't think Colton McKivitz is the answer. So I don't hate their draft. I'm just not a big fan after the first round. And that is why I gave them a B+. Sports Illustrated gave them a, drum roll please, because it's taking forever to scroll, gave them an A-. So we're not that far off. I just don't think using a second first round pick when you could get future assets and you're literally a quarter away from having won the Super Bowl, I don't think that a second first round pick used on a wide receiver necessarily fixes any of your problems.
Yeah, I don't hate grabbing a wide receiver. I just don't like trading up for him. Ayuk, I think, will be a good receiver, maybe even great.
He's a physical fucking freak.
Yeah, but you traded 31, 117, and 176 to move up to 25. And he could have easily been there 6 picks later. So I don't love that move. Again, I'm a stickler for usage of your draft capital. I think, there's always players that slide and I hate reaching, and I hate, even if you think it's your guy, I always think there's a trade you can make back if before you reach.
I really like Javon Kinlaw, but they should have fucking held on to pick 13 and taken Tristan Wirfs.
That, or they could have gotten, CeeDee Lamb or something at 13 I like Kinlaw too. I think he's he's got a very high ceiling. Could end up being, considered a steal when we look back at this if he develops.
Dude's a monster.
Yeah. The rest of their draft, pretty decent. Nothing I didn't think to write home about after that. Just didn't love the move for Ayuk, but it's not a terrible draft. They got a tackle, they got a tight end, and they got another wideout, and they didn't have a lot of draft capital due to previous moves, and obviously they almost won a Super Bowl. So
I personally like their first pick. It is questionable to trade back up, especially in this draft for Inuk, but obviously Shanahan's got to see something in him to pull that trigger. The rest of the picks, I guess, just makes sense for where they are and what they're kind of looking for, but not underwhelming, not overwhelming, just, it's like, okay.
I am whelmed.
Yeah, like, a B for me, it's like, okay, you went and did things you need to do and things you wanted to improve, and you got some good picks through there for you, but, I mean, not overwhelmingly impressed. Yeah, so just a B.
Yeah.
B.
All right. Dan O'Shea, did you give your grade?
No, I'm sitting at a B minus.
A B minus. Okay. Yeah, the first two picks are enough for me to give them that B plus.
Just said B.
All right, we've got about 10 minutes before we need to take our next break. Let's get the Cardinals in, and then we will take a break, all right?
All right.
So the Arizona Cardinals had themselves a decent little draft.
Yes, they did.
Decent little draft is as accurate as it can be.
So the Arizona Cardinals, first round, pick number 8, Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from Clemson. Do we all agree dude's a fucking monster?
Couldn't miss with that pick. Could not miss.
Yep.
Dude, we all agree.
We were all mocking him around there, too, and that for good reason.
I had seen mock drafts having him go at 3 to the Lions.
That would have made sense. Him going to the Giants at 4 would have made sense.
Him going anywhere.
Almost anywhere.
Outside of 1 and 2, anywhere he went would have made sense.
In all honesty, him, Burrow for the need, but him and Chase Young, in my opinion, were the best 2 players available in this draft.
I slightly disagree. I think it was Young and Okuda were 1 and 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I agree with that. Those are Ohio State guys. They don't give a shit.
But Simmons and Jedrick Wills would probably be 3 and 4 for me. Anyways, round 3, pick 72, Josh Jones, tackle from Houston. Guy's huge. Going to be a solid tackle in the NFL, probably for a really long time, barring any injuries. And obviously they need someone to protect Kyler Murray. So, good pick. Round 4, 114. Underrated fucking pick, Lakai Fotu from defensive tackle. Fuck me. Why am I having such a hard time speaking? The defensive tackle from Utah in the 4th round, huge steal. And then 17 picks later, you go get a fucking another defensive tackle who's just an absolute monster, LSU's Rashard Lewis. Then 6th round pick 202. You want another linebacker? Well, you just got Evan Weaver from California. Fucking monster as well. And then round 7 pick 222. An vastly underrated running back named Eno Benjamin from Arizona State. Guy's really good. I feel like he could, if he was picked in the 5th round, I wouldn't have been surprised. I was surprised he was picked in the 7th. Yeah, this, just going through it now, I'm going to change what my grade was. I had a B+. They're a solid A-.
You know, I was thinking the exact same thing. That's the grade I'm going with because it was, to me, just evaluating it, it was a really good draft for them. They clearly made a point to the league that they're going to be stout up on defense. They want big dudes who hit hard and plug holes. They got a steal and Eno at the end, and I'm kind of giving them this grade of the A- because it's almost a contrast to what they did last year. They clearly were sold on Kyler Murray. They went out and got Kyler Murray to lead that offense. And it was kind of my hope that the Giants would do the same thing with their pick, but I understand why they went this way. But they clearly established the leader they want on defense in Isaiah Simmons. So now you have 2 young players that you're literally building both sides of the ball around, which was why I think they did so good.
Exactly. And they fucking went out and got DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So, like,
That's why my grade is actually an A because of that Hopkins trade. Like that's unbelievable. You honestly, you destroyed